Spurs sold, man. The Spurs absolutely sold this game. Of all the people to turn the ball over in that moment, like Victor Wembanyama just did, I did not expect Victor to do that. He seems like the person that would take a step back and move the ball up the court, but this just shows how young he is. He's 22 years old. The whole team is just super young. It was chaotic in the last seconds of the game, and series might be over. To be brutally honest, I was quite disappointed in Wembanyama's performance today just because of how much he talked after the game last time. He said that he wasn't good enough, he needed to be better, and it was all his fault that they didn't win game one. And then to show up and take 4 shots in the first quarter, in the first half, almost with like 5 minutes remaining in the first half, he had 4 shots. That's just not good enough. That's not aggressive enough, and it's not something that I didn't expect from Wemby, because in all the games that they've trailed throughout these playoffs, against OKC for example, he showed up the next game. And in this game, he didn't show up until the second half, and so it was a little bit late. If he had shown up earlier in the first half, they might not have even been in this situation where they lost by 1 ultimately. But I can't even put it all on Wemby, because on the other side of things, Jalen Brunson mightily struggled today. I mean, let me pull up the box score real quick. He was 7 for 25 after being literally 12 for 31 in the last game. So the best player on the Knicks has not been the best player on the Knicks. And we'll talk about who has been, which is Karl-Anthony Towns. He has a real chance for Finals MVP. But if you're the Spurs, this is such a bad loss because you're down 0-2, you lost both home games, and you're going back to New York playing against a team that has won 13 straight at this point. I mean, we'll talk about what has gone right for the New York Knicks, because today's game was a super great example of what they've been doing for the past 13 games on this win streak, and it was obvious that they're the better team. Just going back to Wemby's turnover, the reason what that makes it so bad is because if you had the ball and you just kept the ball, you pushed it up the court, you were in a tie game. 104-104, you were in a tie game. And mentally, that is so different than being down 104-105, knowing that you just gave up a free throw that could possibly end your season and your chance at a championship. Just imagine what Wemby was thinking at that point when he took that mid-range to try to win the game. He knew that he had to make that shot, not only to win the game and to keep their chances alive, but to compensate for what's going to keep him up at night. I sure as hell know that if I turned over the ball in any game, regardless if it was the NBA Finals, that is keeping me up at night. And Wemby already looked pretty shook and defeated when he was going against Karl-Anthony Towns throughout this whole game. I can't even imagine what he's going to look like next game. And I sort of feel bad for him. But yeah, that's just such a disappointing loss for the Spurs. The series is most likely over going back to New York, but let's talk about the New York Knicks, because wow, they're 2 wins away from becoming NBA champions for the first time in who knows how many ever years. And in game 1, I remember when the Spurs had a 14-point lead, I was like, okay, wow, the Spurs might actually steal game or take game 1. But the Knicks this time, when they were down by like 10 points, I think, early on into the game, I was like, hold on, the Knicks might come back in this, and I actually believe that they're going to come back. And sure enough, they did come back, and they took a 10-point lead, and it was the Spurs on the other side of things that were going to tie things up. And that was when I was actually like, okay, the Spurs are actually showing some resiliency, and this is what we want in an NBA Finals. But I still always felt like the Knicks were the better team. And that's because of one man, Karl-Anthony Towns. This man is genuinely playing the best defense of his entire career in this finals. If you told me that there was one person that was going to lock up Victor Wembanyama and make him look as defeated as he has looked in this series, there's no way I would have picked Karl-Anthony Towns as the guy that was going to make him look the way that he's looking. And then on the other side of things, he's the guy who's keeping the Knicks alive when the Spurs are going on these runs. He's the one that's carrying the second unit and making sure that Mikal is getting in rhythm, because Mikal Bridges had so many threes today, and he was back to the Mikal Bridges that was worth 5 first-round picks. And OG Anunoby, he's the one that's getting these guys involved on offense and making those passes and setting up the offense when Jalen Brunson is struggling. Karl-Anthony Towns is doing all of these things as if he's the best player on the New York Knicks. So if you ask me who the Finals MVP frontrunner is right now, it's absolutely Karl-Anthony Towns, and he deserves all of that respect. Today, you could just tell the difference between how the New York Knicks feel as a team compared to the San Antonio Spurs. On the Spurs side, there were so many possessions where it just felt like they were just throwing the ball up, and they had no idea, they weren't in any set. They just didn't really know what they were doing on offense. It just felt chaotic. But on the Knicks side, that looks like a team that has played together for 20 years at this point. I mean, yeah, all these guys played at Villanova together, but like, they're clicking at the right time. The ball movement, immaculate. offensive rebounds happening at all the right time. So many offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter. The Knicks just look like a championship team. The production that they're getting from Landry Shamet, even Deuce McBride, you can hear the deuce coming down from the crowd in San Antonio from the New York Knicks fans. Landry Shamet, like, I don't even understand the defense that the Spurs are playing on Landry Shamet. He's shooting damn near 60% or something like that from three. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the playoffs so far, and they're literally helping off of him to go double team Jalen Brunson, who's struggling this game. Don't hope off of Landry Shamet. He's your Julian Champagnie. I mean, you guys have a guy like him on your team, and you're treating him like that on the opposite side, if you know what I'm saying. For the Spurs, this is literally the worst outcome because Jalen Brunson is struggling, and he's not going to struggle for the whole series. This is Jalen Brunson we're talking about. He's literally was an MVP candidate. He's the best player for the New York Knicks. And to be down 0-2 going back to Madison Square Garden where the cheapest ticket price is $10,000, you know how that crowd is going to be. And to be down 0-2 when De'Aaron Fox had somewhat of a bounce back game, he was probably the best he's played in a while now. And to be down 0-2, it's just, I don't know. I don't know where the Spurs go from here, and the New York Knicks are damn near champions. Yeah, OG really showed up today. Mikal really showed up today. The Knicks just have everyone basically clicking at the same time except for Jalen Brunson, and we know he's going to show up. So super excited to see whether they really take control of the series and the championship in Game 3, if the Spurs are going to show any fight at all. But if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want more of these type of recaps, and I'll see you guys in the next one.